Yamamu nyina aha emmokwa ba United Television so eni premo ato omemu nsema ya boabo no se kase no eno na awia imede emmamo kase de ebe asida wom dia this way chocolate drink de uhia hey enso hie koko a etiase na ye de aye special ice ensuo eboni chidom ensuo na de ba bia befa odwa so bia onsa ebetumi aka wodie na sika wodwadie sika mu ahotoso best point savings and loans and a best assurance wom ebo yenchi domtino de bia ye ho adweye enmekoi adaro maiden nsem emmaw channel 360 DSTV she metie ensem ni bi ewo ho memamu nyina akwaba ensem no de oba betie no ebi enie aban ade atodwa se obehwe se ebre bia dollar ebe wo memu we ye ensem Fred Agbanyo ade atodwa ansampo na midday budget review no eba beto edwa ewo emrehye bedwam na Dr. Fee essay abana mu awoto opese oyi sika ohanche mu aduo no edifi National Health Insurance Scheme Authority emu ede boa mahama case no enya de ombetumi ato akoso ayo ebeto mrebe no ebe ha adwen kakra we eye enchemu a ode ababeto eja na yeko ensemfufuro ma UTV ye kan eso ababebre omanfo a wom ewo chese SDA College of Education ya de ho amane bobam e wo seche South Asante Mantam emo na eniema nkoye ye bom no ensesa hwonkokra eda ayiniti e wo ho ensem ni bibre e ka we mo de bema wo e wo kase emo oban ma afia kire me e na mesomo yentie ensem no enchiemwe Ghana ye mampanyi dada John Evans Satamel so nya ne baby ekoye no emfinhia dumiensa emu anie empanyifo ye amamre ne amane na mo di enhwen akoto ne na no so e de akai no se ye kasa yi ekoso e wasomdwe park yenko homra.
Unto him who is able to keep us from falling, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Christo. Ye bodim boni baby a Christo enye so maw. Ni shira enye kesema wone wasefo. Ye man Ghana enye shira enne sei ene da. Amen. Eradin shira wo. Eradin shira wo bebre.
Ladies and gentlemen, very soon we've come to the end of the 13th anniversary of the riddling of His Excellency Professor John Evans Atamels. Let me take the opportunity to acknowledge the presence of one lady who has supported us all this while. Unfortunately, she's not been too well, but she is here with us. Patricia Akuye Ade, the Deputy Secretary of the party in the Greater Accra region. Sapat, we wish you well. It shall be well soon.
New job in South Mrashebedwani ye so for abedi chira ohwe adwade ne mfidi djuma ho nsem eso Honorable Michael Ochibefi e de ato aban anim se eba no efa horo omo ye niema production e wo omamu na aban masika enko ema wo na sika no so onyi emfamfi gold board omo photo emo
import taxes am kan wasem na so ban hwe ni yi no ma omankofobi ebi some of them no omomo ho han kakra especially cement manufacturers say cement ne bo no sela bibi agina no enye ne pese ho abanhye Ghana for boss oba cement bo aba from ba cement companies no so omo ntimi ntine ma so mane ma from pa gise aban yi bibi ma omo so say clinker aid yes cement no omo kade nyina fie bruchi no mo de ba Ghana enti e crack clinker ba e wo say o kraba e wo say eno so no omo de ebo no ska ombetio na to ba aban ho a bank of form tonton cement no mu nya kwan ehome eno ntina ma cement bo kosoro no enti bi gidisa aban be bo ama obema mo we bia ambatete somo mo na mo atom kakra na de ba kwa yesa hwe ni ma hia pa o za ban ye hu bibi ehia ene se aban be bie the productive sector dem cause the gold board buy you know and leakages and pilferages gold and go foot midday a smuggle p cord in your money na be so
Yesan edimo eko asumdue park bio ansana no na NDC national chairperson eye Owura Johnson esiedu nketia edi nsem bi atudwa edi afakane mampanyi John Evans Atambelsa wonya ne ba bi kro no eho yentie sede okano.
Well, Ni has begged me to reserve my comments about his school, so I'll not go there. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic, Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic, the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, the Chief of Staff of the Republic of Ghana, and all other protocols duly observed. Let me also stand on the established protocols so we can save time. Exactly a year ago, when I was invited to give a brief comments as I'm doing at this commemoration, I struggled to contain my anger about what I saw in the morning. But I mustered enough courage to declare that what we were seeing on that day will be the last time any such thing will happen at the commemoration of the passing of the King of Peace. Because for the past so many years, we have had to endure the contradiction of commemorating the passing of a man of peace in the midst of some confusion. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, today the story is different. And in my mathematical lessons in school, we were taught that when there is a formula that contains constants and variables, where the answer changes, that change in answer can only be attributable to the change in the variables. So the formula for the celebration of this event has remained the same formula. The date, 24th July, has remained the same. The true family of Professor Mills has remained the true family of Professor Mills. The leadership of the National Democratic Congress has remained the leadership of the National Democratic Congress. The only, and I guess to say that my former deputies have remained my former deputies. The only variable that has changed is the swapping of positions of two very important people in this country. And they just swapped their positions perfectly. One from a former president to the sitting president. And the other one from the sitting president to a former president. So if this celebration is happening in a peaceful atmosphere, that is the true reflection of the lives and beliefs of Professor Mills. Then Your guess is as good as mine as to who was the cause of the confusion in the past. I have peace in my mind, peace in my heart, and I believe that Professor Mills is enjoying peace in his grave. I thank you very much, and may God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Wo obenfo John Evans Atamils ni mfin hia edumiensa edwumedie ne ne fahye ase no omampanyi John Dramani Mahama nso akasa.
Today we lost a very great man. The weather, I remember, was exactly the same. And after his death for many months, the weather in Accra remained overcast and cold. There was a certain cold, that swept over the land. And so today is almost exactly like the same day that the unfortunate tragedy overtook this country. So let me proceed on the established protocol, but acknowledge two important persons: Her Excellency our Vice President Jane Nana Opukwa-Agyeman and the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Alban Bagbin, and our party executives, Council of Elders, and all the many friends and family of Atamils who have gathered here today. We have gathered here once again on this sacred ground we call Asumdwe Park, under the gentle shade of remembrance to mark the 13th anniversary since the passing of a man whose life, leadership, and legacy continues to speak profoundly to the conscience of our nation from his grave. 13 long years may have passed, but for many of us, the pain of Professor John Evans Atamils' departure would always remain fresh. His sudden transition on July 24, 2012 left not only a deep vacuum in our political and national life, but also in the hearts of those who knew him well and worked with him and were touched by his quiet strength and unwavering humanity. This annual moment of reflection is not just a ceremonial act. It is a national duty and an occasion for us to pause and remember the values that guided the man we honor today, which were humility, integrity, discipline, and above all, peace. Professor Mills was a rare breed of leader. He stood tall not just in intellect, but also in his moral stature. In the often turbulent world of Ghanaian politics, he was always calm in the storm, a voice of reason, a voice of restraint, and a voice of hope. His was not the politics of insults or vengeance, but the politics of service, compassion, and reconciliation. Even in the face of provocation, he responded not with anger, but with grace. Even when confronted with betrayal or disappointment, he remained steadfast in upholding his principles. He never allowed power to change who he was. He remained until his last breath a servant of the people, a man of peace, a man of God, and a man of Ghana. As his vice president and one who worked very closely with him, I saw these values in action every day. I witnessed his concern for the most vulnerable in society, his tireless efforts to extend opportunity to every Ghanaian, regardless of background. He was not loud, he was not flamboyant. He believed that leadership should be lived and not performed. Professor Mills governed this country with a deep moral compass. He placed truth over expedience, and he puts people over politics. And he placed the country over self. These are the lessons that continue to resonate, particularly in these times when our politics can be very divisive and disconnected from the hopes of the ordinary Ghanaian. As we stand here at his resting place, we must ask ourselves, what does it mean to truly honor the memory of this great man? It is not enough for us to lay wreaths at his grave once a year. It is not enough for us to sing his praises in death. The most authentic tribute we can give Professor John Atta Mills is to carry forward the values that he held dear. Is to rekindle the spirit of humility and accountability. Rekindle the spirit of ethical leadership that he exemplified. He believed in justice, not just as a legal principle, but as a way of life. He believed that peace was not the absence of conflict, but the presence of fairness and dignity. He believed that the power that was entrusted to leaders should be used to uplift the weak, protect the vulnerable, and give voice to the voiceless. In a world that is increasingly impatient, increasingly loud, and sometimes careless with truth, Professor Mills's life reminds us of the power of stillness, strength in gentleness, and the enduring force of quiet conviction. Today our country faces many challenges. We inherited an economy in deep distress. We face social divisions that threaten our cohesion and a growing weariness among our people. But if there's one lesson we draw from the life of President Mills, it is that no challenge is insurmountable. When we lead with integrity, when we listen with empathy, and when we govern with principle. It is that lesson that I strive to follow in the reset agenda that we have adopted. So let me say for
UTV and cameras echo PM or Blue East Mantam no emo. Yeni omanfo bi e bon komo adwomadwe nche se enne a na sika sem so for Dr. Castle Atoforson e de afim pe musika sem nkontabuo eye midday budget review beko akoto edwa e wo mhye no eden e na wo mo e hwe kwan.
I would say it's fairly good, the economy, beginning from where it was and then where it is now, looking at the economic indicators, where inflation gradually moving towards a single digit and the steep decline. Where exchange rates are, and so the dollar reduction kind of buy from it's near is here 10.45 there about the account. The stability in the beginning, we were all doubting it. What you said, and people were saying that because government is not spending in thin air, but just this last one and this month going, the allowances of the assembly members have been paid, traditional leaders have been paid, training colleges and what have you, they are allowance, they have paid most of them, and then stress free, and so they have paid, and it's also part of spending. And then the president promising to pay the contractors at the end of this month. So I'm expecting the budget to be as good as the main budgets now on the buy.
But the President Mahama, it's a President Mahama, the President who strategy. I know him, the Anubi say, what they can say, because he said they can say, I say. First, now one and I times 100.
Papa, you buy why never be done. Now, watching our budget, our person, yɛsrɛ ne nneɛma bebree yɛ dollar no ɔmo mmɔden sɛ wotuma maintain dollar no badeɛ ɛwɔ no wada sɛ wobɛti so na wobɛ maintain no badeɛ ɛwɔ no ama yɛ ɛna deɛ ɔtoa so biom so yɛ rural banks na ɔmo collapse no sɛ wohwɛ a rural banks na ɔmo wɔ hɔ no ɔmo boa yɛ adwadifo no bebree ɛhɔ na sometimes ɛyɛ savings yɛgye yɛ bɔsea kakrakra ɛfiri aban dada no baeɛ no ɔgu saa banks no nyinaa ama nnɛ saa banks no nyinaa nyɛ adeɛ ɛyɛ adwuma bio
yɛn nkɔla no amande wɔyɛ na fam deɛ sɛ school no first year abaya faka no nyina na second year so betima dey loan e dey go school abana boy bebre na hostel no ana high said yi wo mo ji hostel wo mo tika wo mo ji parents no enye sika ketwa dey say ban say wo mo hono epin pa
ye hwɛ no mu kwan sɛ aban no policies ya odi agu akwa for instance employment
Guan Mrashebejani a oye edomkuma panyina odi emu akotene Honorable Fred Agbanyo akasa na odi ano bansem magana fo nyina ese dollar no ase nhede ni system mu papa omafo mdidi edwa no ka ho asem dendenden na ansampo na enne sikasem so afo bekwa kopim Mrashebejam no na Honorable Fred Agbanyo edi enhu bansem ma omafo nyina se aban behwe se dollar no ebebuso ama omafo mdidi dwa no ho atowo
Oshe MPP amanyo amamu a ubuye na how bebre wo biase afa na nyina enye Ghana nkoa na MPP abantimi kura na de Ghana efa epukoko mu aho de ane ekoso MPP timi kura na chese ye dia bedu nsuo na ja na ya de be se ye ni nsuo mu bio enti se no wo hu se adwuma MPP di ye no adwuma di a MPP abandi ye no na emu ye uhwe sikasema ya tutu ye no bi na ma na mi no kase enioma adwo Ghana so obo ye nyina ye behu amamu a MPP abantem eni ade ne de say nkasa mrafo
so me can say dollar any ho because me sure say call banks the banks are supposed to release the dollars for them on fandi omega I think what the problem really is exchange rates now which interbank rate as we speak now is about 10.2 10.3 and honor ha omukakra but I think the fundamental rule to tell us quite be fast because to the extent that crowd is go to bank now go use it buy share and say the man will pay to you in the city equivalent unless you can approve it that the year no $100 na the reality is you gonna see city it doesn't go beyond Togo border and as a Burkina Faso and as a Cote d'Ivoire border. And Yamaduna is what my movie carry from an neighbor. It's only dollar, but not your command, Tony Madiaba. Dollars not by the international currency, I did you have here. So, say, I'm Papa, say, a bit new, if you are the phone, then my expectation is a minister, is able to tell us a come first or maybe.
Ranking member health committee Mrashebejam ono anso ye Mrashebejani fijase asokore abato mpesuan eso honorable doctor Nana Ayiu afiye na kasei o se abanjina ya wo si a ene se Mahama Care ana Ghana Medical Trust Fund no wo ba beyi NHIF futuo mu ohanche mu aduonu ene de abodi chidom no eno kire se eni daache papa esan se beto mrebi no ebehwihwan enya de a ebekoyi kra.
The Ghana Medical Trust Fund, Sika ye free NHIA, Ediakoye. Eno yeba committee no ye hu free mu don kuma ye hu free mu. Yamfa ye ho anhye ho ye support it. And yeba floor no so no yan support it because we don't want 20% of the NHIA fund to finance that. Ye pese omo hwe COVID. Yep, omo campaign no one say omo ba omo yi COVID ne free oba oba ye no so we hu say impo apomdi here I was say ye specialist hospitals I was say ye more specialist training and subspecialty training I was say ye yi sa de ne free NHIA ho eno nti no ebusuafo ya na ye ka say ye be scrap it sa fund no ba ye nya scrap bio eno na I was say ye man yetimi koyi sa sika ne de ye na ye NHI for de NHI de ne so mo ya ohiani no sebi oko hospital a obe start ye free botum eye fansa ebe compete dada ene foforo adeɛ foforɔ biara no w'ani kɔ ho wobɛwie akyire na dadaa no na ɛmu sika so a ɛno so na ɛhwɛ sɛbi ɔnni bie ɛna ɛno so na ɔmo so na ɛdɔɔso ɛbɛwie akyire no co-payment ɛna ɛbɛba ɛka co-payment a wobɛkɔ hospital na yɛka sɛ fa wo sika to wɔ ɛno bɛdifiti sɛ nti a yɛyɛ NHI no ɛno nti woyi 20% ɛfiri hɔ no deɛ ɛnyɛ adeɛ a yɛn yɛgye tom ɛna doctorfoɔ no adwuma a wɔyɛ no so no yɛhu beebi a NHI deɛ no esi ɛna beebi a trust deɛ no so ɛfiri ɛno so hia ɛna wɔn sɛ wokɔ trust specialist hɔ nom a wobɛ apply 2 weeks saa 2 weeks no sɛ biribi yɛ wɔ a han na ɛhwɛ wo ɛno so no Ghanafoɔ hia nkyerɛmu ɛwɔ hɔ na sika no wɔn mfa wɔn ani nhwɛ COVID futuo no promise wɔn yɛ campaign no wɔn baa yɛn wɔn ho sɛ ɛmoa agenda 111 hospitals no wɔn nwie bi ne yɛn converting into specialist hospitals na ɛno nhwɛ akoma kokram brɛboɔ all manner of ailments that you might classify as non-communicable disease and its complications. Ɛdɔɔso paa. Into just taking 20% from NHI and no self no entumi nye adwuma no. Ɛna ɛhɔ na wokɔ yi no so no entumi ɛma NHI entumi nye adwuma. Nti wɔn mfa wɔn nkyerɛ COVID. Ana baby foforɔ nkɔpa sika no. Yasɛm etia.
Ghana emabunu bebro ahenum womadi edi finfinhia aduonu kopem mfinhia aduanan ye de killnet adada womoto anansesema che mama atomutim enti enei womakodi senseme e ola kodivoa womotibiem kra no enko yie amononi soafo ene de ensemi eto edwa
locations and forced to lure their relatives and close friends as new victims into the criminal network. The following key points may be noted. According to the Ghana Embassy in Abidjan, the clandestine nature of the operations of the scammers and the silent arrival of victims in Côte d'Ivoire makes it challenging to determine the exact number of Ghanaians being held hostage in Abidjan and other Ivorian cities and towns. However, the mission estimates that there are over 500 Ghanaians between 20 and 40 years of age who are currently held in secluded locations across Côte d'Ivoire. Efforts are being made to bring them back home. Our mission in Nigeria, Mr. Speaker, has recently rescued and repatriated a total of 202 Ghanaians, 78 through the Abuja mission and 124 through the Lagos mission. The initial monetary commitments were paid to Ghana registered mobile money numbers, which are charged frequently. Victims used to pay between 18,000 and 35,000 Ghana cedis for the intended travel. However, recent schemes which advertise jobs in countries such as Canada, France, Belgium, and others require victims to pay between 30,000 Ghana cedis and 40,000 Ghana cedis. The scammers demand payment of half the amount to Ivorian numbers, after which they are requested to travel to Côte d'Ivoire to continue the process and pay the remainder of the visa processing fees. The majority of leaders of the QNet groups in Côte d'Ivoire are Ghanaian nationals.
Sadia sakasakaye eyiniti e otogwa eho enwuo no omanfo bi wadwe bi se ase Ghana de yaje edwa e de ama omanfo ye sakasaka otogo se so mo pe baabi akobo mo adwa mo ntumika na ye ne omo entem nwanti omo mra na nsem we no so afọ ram no ne nsem eso honorable Samoku to ablakwa edi to dwa se sansem no kura bia ne ho a ewo mo.
Although there have been no reports of Ghanaian involvement in the fatalities or arrests, the Togolese government decided to close all unofficial crossing points amid heightened security measures along the Ghana-Togo border on 2nd July 2025. This action restricted access to residents of border communities and other individuals who depend on these crossings for their daily activities. The decision was reportedly made due to concerns that the youth leaders behind the demonstrations from the 26th to the 28th of June have established operational bases in Ghana and are coordinating activities from across the border. Mr. Speaker, let me emphasize that the government of Ghana is not aware of Ghana serving as a base for any protester or any activist in Togo, and these claims are baseless and totally unfounded. Mr. Speaker, currently only the main Aflao border crossing and the Bit 9 pedestrian border post remain open to travelers. Right Honourable Speaker, I am pleased to inform the House that there have been no reports linking any Ghanaian national to the recent fatalities or arrests in Lomé. The cases currently under investigation by the Togolese authorities pertain to individuals whose activities do not involve any Ghanaian citizen. Our mission in Lomé continues to engage proactively with the relevant local authorities to monitor unfolding developments and uphold the safety and security of Ghanaian citizens in Togo. These engagements have included maintaining open and active channels of communication with Togolese law enforcement and immigration services, providing timely consular assistance and advisory support to Ghanaian nationals, particularly those in areas impacted by recent unrest, participating in regional security dialogues to strengthen mutual cooperation and advance the protection of the rights of Ghanaian residents. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and our mission in Togo remains vigilant and responsive, reaffirming Ghana's diplomatic principles of non-interference, citizen protection, and constructive regional cooperation. It is pertinent, however, to observe that none of the diplomatic missions accredited to Togo have been closed down, and citizens from other countries have not been evacuated as a result of the protests. Should any development arise, Mr. Speaker, the mission is well positioned to act swiftly and transparently in the interests of all Ghanaian nationals. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Despite media, yesu abapa we jise yanka. Ye reform ne se SDA College of Education ewo agona. Ewo asante mantam emromu hia akade a ebeboa ama de kire ni adesua aya kono na yama ne bono echi no Jamasi 7-day Adventist Church abomoden a atene wonsa e de brand new minibus nkokra ama SDA College of Education.
A school for ekwa kusua ade kire na omakwa konya kwanhia enam se no mu ni hyan a ahotowom elonti e de kwanhia kakraba school no na no ni boya mame e ma safone rehoi e se dabi ye ni kan no ye nko aye ho ene ya asore ne ho e mo ye bedroom school no so ho na se school foi a o mu nyina ye dachi enya baby partner e wo ka mo mu kwa e ya asundwe mu a ebeboa ama asundwe aba ebeboa mo so ani akase o mu chusu so mbeba besua de wa eti ye hu sampa ye de bebro na omonso ho ahihawo enitina ekoto ka no de ba pompa ya se yehu ahoden ba bia principal te no ye ya safo no edwene ho se na meto ye nsem no oboa ya enka ye beba beboa ni etimasi bangaru kama otenemu a obenya ahoto a beben school ne se ne be ya kwani aba no so beti ama no eno ne ade fofora esi asafo ne so
se ba si abai abeboa adusua yi abeboa ama adusua akoso in fact ye nkola no mo ko teaching practice amona mfem akwaya mutwa no so kwawa akyerɛkyerɛfoɔ no so kɔhwɛ wɔn so a wɔn so nam fam nti anya bi koraa no akyerɛkyerɛfoɔ no wɔkɔ a ebetumi de wɔn akɔ asukuufoɔ no wɔn kwan wa no so ebetumi aboa wɔn ɛno nti yɛde Jamasi SDA Church ase paa yi baasi wei ne so kaa wei sa afa nipa dum ɛno nti yɛsra ban ɛsɛ sukuu yi baa yɛde mfie edu yɛasra ban nso ɔmo mmerɛ yɛ baasi ne bi ɛno nti yɛsra ban sɛ ɔmo mmerɛ yɛ baasi kɛseɛ no sɛ de bɛyɛ yɛn nkɔla no ɔmo kɔ supported teaching in school adeɛ tete ne yɛfɛ teaching practice no a ebetumi de ɔmo akɔ yɛ de ɔmo aba nokwasɛm ni ɛnya ahomka sɛ wobɛte sɛ wakɔla bi ɔkɔ na ɔkɔfa pragea na akɔyi no ahwe ama ne pra ɛmmoa ɛnomasua nti yɛsra ban ɛne ankorankora a ɔmo nsɛm so wɔ bie sɛ ɔmo mmra mɛboa yɛ sɛ Jamasi Church ɛnko atumi aboa yɛ saa ayi a kaa yi a ɛnim sɛ ankorankora keka ho bɔ mu so a ɔmo nso bɛtumi atɔ baase ne bi ɛde abɛboa.
A driver for ni ɔmanfoɔ mo asaman ɛwɔ Asutifi South Mensin emu no wɔ se wakwan ɛnyɛ ɛnkanka deɛ firi emem ɛde kɔ Atroni Junction ɛse wani ɛnsa ka kyerɛ kra
ɛkwan nam so yi ɛkwan a efiri Sunyane ɛbɛsi ne kɔ mem ma branch free main road a efiri Sunyane ɛkɔ go so a ne branch road a ɛfa so kɔ mem ɛna esi amenam so no na ɛkwa we ɛyɛ kwan a nka etia sɛ wofiri Sunyane kɔ mem a sɛ ɔbɛkɔ akɔfa go so de enka ofa saa kwati kwa we a ɛna nka abɔkɔ akɔsi mem na ɛsan sɛ ɛkwan we ɛyɛ kwan a aban ba na aban asesa obi aba oso ɔbɛyɛ amaye enso so sɛ de mfutui nam so saa ne nam so nsuo tɔkora agye sɛ wugina ma nsuo ni to gyae ansana wato ɔkɔntu so
kwada bia yikodwa ɛwɔ Sunyane ɛna me sɛ kwan ne nyenti ye bra ansana ye nyaka ɛde akɔ ɛna ye fa nso a efia da bia nso ya na ye kɔ ememudwa me nyina nso gina kwan na enye nti wo pɛ wo nioma gu kwan sɛ wo di kodwa kora wo bre ansana wanyaka kwan na enye nti ya
na me nim kwan na enye be ATS ni wo sɛ na Alexi Bua kwan so a wo ye na contractor ba fu wo mem but you talk about that time we ebesi na 2016 besi na obi ama kwan so we so adwuma nti how I know kwan dey so de bia say ye to azovers ni ties ni amna montimon kan o say mo ye no o ma gata no mo ye na yi na bubu ama nsuo to na atwa fa kwan no nti ye brepa kwan de enye kura
nti yesere wo mo say to mo ye to ho nyene aban first year oba ya obeye no wo nso ba na obeja ato ho saa ama se edu tam se nsuo toto a ka bia kwentimi nkwa na aba nti samoso mbadum ya dia na samoso maba dia yesere me so de ha no ejam amoso mo nka nkyere mpanyimfo no mo ka bi wo mo no amoso ntimi mehwe kwa no mabuaye
Abrebe abeti se road minister echo inspection of roads kwan omonta maso mehwe omakọ da areas na ye kwan de obetweda minim ninsia etabasa kwan abandon my contract with 2017-2018 two contractors and also na se say ameno kasa ifri mem to go mukoforia contractor no so a also yedma ifi koforia kwesi main junction na de contractor na free so na akra na ohwe the largest and hospital kesi akeben Sunyane teaching hospital your hospital kenase and go so the teaching hospital ebia bit marifobia Sunyane teaching hospital na kwan enanza enyinti e ka say refobi kra kwa bibia bit nesi okwan so enti yesre aban se umu ye mobo na former contractor na nsa site na kwan emetomu mai na ya ye fa kwan so ene ya ye area nyina so enzo etimi enyamfa so e wo kwan so
Yeko from Mantam emo manfo mochibu asema muka nyina ene se say dear nkitawudie ho asem ayeden so obekasa wo telephone so ama ho ato no bachi bidin network ne nya me yaka say oho enti ama enwuma kra nka also munya akwanya ko interviews ni ade no ni nyina abom na apomudin so kra no enyensunso e so e de ema wo mo pa.
I can remember I've applied for a job with an NGO organization called COP Africa, and they emailed me to come for an interview because of lack of network. I couldn't find the email well, and it became useless. Like I didn't come across the email so fast, so I couldn't make it, and it's like the network make me turn jobless. So I think the government should do something about that one. Thank you.
Bethel is a town which actually is dear to our heart in Chibu over here. And there is close relationship among us. The road network, most of the time, every day there are people on the road. We walk, and sometimes when there is some taxis, okay, they take us there. The school over there is not quite developed, so the children come from Bethel to this place. But the road, the nature of the road makes it very difficult for the children to get here when there's rain.
Network no anye kra titinso to a yentumi nye ko. This say ko next town. Ansa na ebetima anya network ayeko.
In fact, we struggle to do our calls. We are in a digital era or period, and of course we rely upon our phones to do all our communication correspondences, and it becomes very difficult. We are left out of society and socialization, and over here, because we are a bit far from the short, where we can get a mast for either the Airtel Tigo, Telecel, and then MTN. So we struggle to do it.
Kasiye eba unchen live United Television eso ye worship house Abeka Junction enkran yenyen kratwe ye ba bongo difara agropamaso ense.